Today I'm gonna be reading you a book, Purple Smoke Distortion by Kondono and Hiko Araki. Our original concept was done by Hiko Araki. The rest was the Konde Gadababa did. Alright, let's get into it. Let's get into the first chapter. Vitini na Corazona. Sangha School. At the ruins known as the Temple of Apollo, there was two figures, one a man and the other a young girl. It was pitch dark, the night of the new moon, a realm lit only by the scant glimmer of the stars. The man stood, looking down at the young girl who lay on the ground, the girl groaning in pain. "Call him," the man said in a curt, indifferent in tone. She groaned again. "Call Fugo. Scream and call for him to help you." Oh, this is the prologue. My bad. Chapter 1. Song of the School. Some artwork that's shown at the beginning of the chapter of a new character. His name is Rio Latidis. Noise was an everyday occurrence at the Milan Stadio Giuseppe Meazza, one of the most famous soccer stadiums in the world. It was common to see throngs of passionate fans, hordes of vendors who smelled money in the air, and even police officers to keep any trouble in check. The air was unusually rife with energy and enthusiasm. Today, however, the stadium was silent. Today was the day the hometown team was sent to face off against the neighboring arch-rivals in the playoff game. But the stadium, that boasted a capacity of 8,018 people, was empty. 80,000. There was no fans, and the players scheduled to play were nowhere to be seen. A terrifying hush prevailed beneath the clear open sky. Yet, in the airspace above the stadium was an airship, drifting as if it was there to film an empty soccer field. On the side of the airship was a small, unobtrusive lettering that read Speedwagon. Ah, yes. My glorious waifu, Robert Elliott Oregon Speedwagon. Love that man. As I was reading, the ship crew looked down at the Vanquette Stadium and nodded at each other, expressing tense. One crew member picked up a transceiver and spoke into it. "You're all clear. The stadium is deserted." "Roger that," replied a man to the transmission, revealing himself from his hiding spot in the empty stadium sand and waving toward the blimp overhead. The airship flashed a flight of signify that the crew has a visual confirmation of him. "You guys keep out surveillance. I'm sure you know. But if anything happens to me, get the hell out of here." "Understood. Be careful, Gudio Mista." After hanging up, the man Mista reached for his boot and pulled out a pistol they had holstered inside. He readied it with practiced hand. He then shouted up to the players' entrance on the other side of the stadium. "All right, we're good. Come out here. Come out. Shelia E." His voice was deep, yet clear and carried well, like that of an opera singer presenting in arias on stage. After 10 seconds of silence, two figures walked out, the glance slow and awkward, from the entrance where focused athletes would normally emerge. One was a girl named Shelia E, who looked young, as if she was still growing into her features, but was most notable that look in her eyes. Her eyes were sharp, with blood loss, like a bird of prey ready to swoop down on all her sight, and rip everything in half. She reported a few scars on her face, but she did not seem to be bothered by them. The other boy, whom Xiaolai pushed, urging him to move, shoulders slumped. The boy trotted hesitantly onto the turf, his strawberry earrings swaying from his ears. Once Xiaolai and the boy were 20 meters away, Mista yelled, "Okay, that's far enough." Xiaolai reacted with a quick wake of his shoulder, halting her march. The boy, on the other hand, flinched spasm-like as he stopped. The muzzle of Gyuto Mista's pistol pointed at the center of his face, between his forehead and mouth, slightly above the bridge of his nose. Mista looked down at the boy, scoffing and puffing out his lips. Been a while, hasn't it? Awkwardly the boy raised his head. Mista's eyes were cold as ice. So, Fugo, what have you been up to all this time? I'm sorry for pointing a fake gun at you guys. It just makes it more into the immersion. Even though I don't have a revolver, I do have a prop gun. Tell because it has an orange tip. Orange tips always know you're fake. But as I was saying, all this time, Panana Kuda Fugo could not answer. He could not think of anything he could possibly say. Reports tell us you've been playing piano at a bar for the past 6 months. Imagine my surprise when I found out you could play the piano. I had no clue. Yeah, we knew each other for a long time, too. You well-to-do kids are in a league of your own. I bet you all have kind of sorts of refined hobbies, don't you? When Fugo seemed to mumble something under his breath, Mista waited no time asking, "Huh? What was that?" "You said something just now. If you got something to say it loud and clear." The corners of Fugo's lips pulled into a grimace as he replied stiffly, "Nothing. Never mind." However, what he wanted to say was this: "You're wrong. I'm no spoiled rich kid." Fuck, we're 7 minutes. 7-11! Mista raised an eyebrow. He decided to move on from the topic. Then let's flip the script. There's some things I wanted to ask. There's some things you want to ask me, aren't there? Things you want to know. I'll answer to you. So ask away. Well, several seconds passed before Fugo eventually gained the courage to ask, Is he really dead?" Mista saw the tinge of unbearable pain coloring Fugo's eyes, furrowing his brow. Mista looked over to Xiaolai. "Hey, Xiaolai, plug your ears." "Yes, sir." She replied promptly in the order, digging her fingers into her ears so much force it looked like she draw blood. Full on just crazy. That must hurt. Like, it must really hurt. You know what I mean? Anyways, I should probably keep reading before this video gets any longer than it should be. The display of loyalty was almost morbid. But Mista paid it absolutely no attention. He turned back to Fugo, addressing him in a hushed tone. "So you heard Bucciarati is dead?" Fugo's face strained with color. His whole body began to tremble, his molars chattering violently as if he was trapped in a mountain, naked, during a blizzard. Why give that the description? You could have just said when he was cold. Like if someone was cold. Waiting for a bus. Like, that would have been so much simpler instead of saying naked in a blizzard on a mountain. Like, what? Like, what? I mean, it is pretty bizarre. I know a fat fucking chud. Anyways. Seeing this, Mista said even quieter, "Narancia and Abakio are also dead too. By the way, hey, do you remember? You said something back then. What was it again?" Fugo could not answer, but he did remember. "You've lost your grip over reality. No one can survive in this world on the deals alone. And we can't live on without this organization." There was no way he could ever forget. Because right after speaking those words, he had parted ways with the people that he had dedicated his life to. Had that been too harsh of a move? Was he a fool for not comprehending the situation? He had been living every moment afterward with those daps residing in the back of his mind. However, standing before him was someone who could impart an answer. One of those 5 members of the team he had turned his back on. Mista, is it true? Fugo's voice trembled as he spoke. The question was vague, but a smile ghosted on Mista's face. Looks like the rumors reached you too. What have you heard? Well, Fugo began, glancing over to Shirali, standing beside him. He did not want her to hear anything he was about to say. Mista instructed her to plug her ears even further. Fugo steeled himself before he spoke again. What I heard was this. The boss has finally revealed his identity, and his name is Giorno Giovanna, the boss of the secret organization Passione. Because he's only 16 years old, he was wary of provoking any unnecessary hostility and kept his identity a secret. But traitors tried to uncover his true identity, which developed into a feud that almost got his interstellar cop of the crossfire. Figuring that he had no other reason to stay hidden, he decided to come out in the limelight. But, Mista interrupted him. As you know, that's all a lie. After all, you were with us up right until it all happened. Yeah. Mista trailed off, never once taking the barrel of his pistol off Fugo. Right before the real boss, Diavolo, was killed by Bucciarati and the others. Fugo was aware that his throat was dry. Throat was dry. You could not find this. Why is this so descriptive? It's so. Listen to this. Fugo was aware that his throat was dry, but he found he could not even swallow a single drop of saliva. I mean, I understand the point you're trying to get off of, but you could have done it way simpler. Jeez. Coldly, Mista continued. That's right. Giorno joined the family with the intent of taking down the boss and taking control of the syndicate. Bucciarati had known that his intentions were the entire time. One of those, now that you mention in moments, right? I'm sure you've also had a hunch about that being the case. The second Giorno was introduced to the team, we all saw that he didn't carry himself like an ordinary rookie. Bucciarati always treated him less like a grunt, more like a trusted partner. I mean, Giorno told me they had an equal relationship with each other, but that's not how it came across to me. Bucciarati virtually was Giorno's subordinate, instead of the other way around. I'm not sure how to phrase it any better, but that's the impression I got. Bucciarati resolved to give up his life to make Giorno's dreams come true. He made that happen, traded fatal blows with Diavolo, and died. After a pause, he still went on. Giorno's actions were swift and precise. He ended up taking over the syndicate in the blink of an eye. I gotta say, it was a hell of a sight. That's about when the rumors you heard come around, right? It's pretty public after his takeover, after all. This is hard. Like, hold on. Holding a gun? Bro, that would be such a crazy scene in a movie. Someone reading a book to someone held gunpoint at them. That's so fire! Nah, bro, I need to write this down somewhere. Need to take notes on this shit, 'cause that's fire! Yeah, Fugo replied. The Prince of Passione came out of hiding to clean up the underworld. The underworld. You didn't hear shit. You didn't hear shit. Did you hear shit? Did you hear anything? That's what I thought. Anyways, Prince of Passione came out of hiding to clean up the underworld. It's been spreading like an urban legend in the streets. Also, Mista, he added, they're saying that you're his number 2. You heard about that? A skilled gunman is his vice commander, right? Well, that's actually not true. Number 2 is Polnareff. Jean-Pierre Polnareff. Put some respect on that man's name. I'm his number 3. Just think. If you multiply by 2 itself, it makes 4, doesn't it? 4 is an unlucky number. I know I would never come near anywhere near something like that. So unlucky, don't you? With 3 on the other hand, there's nothing to worry about. Capiche? He said with a slightly joking tone. Polnareff, the Frenchman? He's someone you don't know. Knowing his name is no good to you, though. You have no way of looking him up. Since he was being told information that was a likely top secret, Fugo pondered on why he was brought here in the first place. He had split off from his team after being completely unable to follow Bruno Bucciarati's ridiculous directive to kill the boss and take over. But Xiao Yi, a member of the Reborn Passione, which is basically post-Diavolo. Is that the word, post? I'm not using that word right? Tell if I'm not, but like... had come over to his safe house just yesterday. He felt this day would come, eventually, but the current situation was far more than he ever expected. All this shows influenced way beyond what the old boss ever had, Fugo thought. Until 6 months ago, Passione was indeed a powerful crime syndicate that gained control through bribing and blackmailing large corporations, the police, and even government officials several times over. This situation, however, was a league all on its own. They had cleared the Giuseppe Miyaza and UEFA 5-star stadium, postponing a match that would have been broadcast rights agreements with television stations around the world, driving away tens of thousands of spectators, all to call Fugo over to talk. It was a move that required a lot of pull, and clearly involved more than just politicians putting in a word or two. This was far beyond the scope of the organization in the past. In addition, the airship overhead belonged to the Speedwagon Foundation, one of the world's most leading research institutes. Fugo had no idea how they were able to side with the syndicate, make them side with the syndicate. But he did know that the person that airship was monitoring as a research subject was me. There's nobody else it could be. Fugo started to prickle from Mista and Xiao. Sharp stares upon them. Tell me, Fugo, what are you thinking right now? Mista finally asked. Do you think you're a traitor? Do you have any guilt over being heartless enough to abandon Bucciarati? Fugo did not answer. It feels awkward to say this, but you were right. In a way, Bucciarati and the others actually ended up dead. You didn't follow long, and you survived. A fine, fortunate, handsome gentleman born under a special lucky star like myself just managed to scrape by. But given that you're unreliable, and don't have such luck to fall back on, I sincerely doubt you would have stood a chance yourself. You would have survived the outrageous battle between Diavolo and Giorno. Good thing you were smart enough to see it. I commend you for that, at least. After a pause, Mista pushed on. So, let's just put that aside. We're talking about the present. What about now? Where are you gonna go from here? When Fugo still afforded no reply, Moose suggested to Xiao Yi, who would pull fingers out of the ears of a pop. There we go. Her eyes sharpened, and Fugo, already pale in the face, drained of all remaining color. Bring it out, your purple smoke. That was cringe. My bad. That was cringe. My bad. That's my fault. That's my fault. Sorry. Fugo gritted his teeth, but eventually did as he was told. Instantly, yeah, we could just skip a lot of this. If you know what a stand is, you know what's happening. As he appeared, Purple Smoke his stand. Showed himself. That's what it says. Like I don't know how to. Like, that's what it kind of says. You know, I'm gonna make the sounds, all right? Or like, I'm gonna make the sounds. And if you want to continue the series, I'm gonna probably save it. I'm gonna save that at the end. Chief was content to say something. A steady stream of drool rushing from his mouth. Fugo hated laying his eyes on it. It was too unsettling of a sight for him. Mies, however, did not react to the form at all. Now then, Fugo, he said softly, keeping his pistol trained. You know why we called you out to this place in the bright daylight? Don't you? Fugo gave no answer. Misa continued. Fugo, your ability is really dangerous. Once infected by the killer virus that is your smoke spreads, any living organism will be reduced to a rotting, melting mess and die. Can't be defended against. There's no way to control what effects either. It's like having a raw, unbridled, indesecrating form of bloodless assault to you. But I already know the virus is weak to light and only has a range of 5 meters at best. Just like Star Platinum. He didn't say that in the book, but like I just said it so you can understand how far the range is. You get it now, right? Fugo finally spoke up. Yes, I do. That's right. This equation, this location, this weather, at this distance, under these circumstances, your Purple Smoke has absolutely no way to match my 6 bullets. Sex bullets is the original name, but since localization, they had to change it. If you know, you know. I mean, you probably know because you're watching this video because you're a JoJo watcher, right? You're not a LARPer, are you? Because if you are, I'm going to find you. Put this orange tip to your dome. I'm joking. I'm joking, gang. But what I am going to do is shove this up your... I'm joking. Or am I? Am I joking about shoving this up your... I'm joking. I am joking. I don't want to get there. It's time to do. I've drawn my card. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Let's just finish the chapter. Blah 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 blah. Just explaining Mista's ability. Blah 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 blah. You cannot reach Mista 20 meters away with his 6 pistols. 6 pistols. 6 bullets. 6 pistols. I'm gonna call it Sex Pistol because it's so much better than 6 bullets. Sex Pistol. 6 pistols. Sex Pistols. 20 meters away. In the stadium, there's no obstruction with direct sunlight pouring down on them. Oh, this is that morning. Is it? Because, like, it says, and with direct, yeah, so it's in the morning. It's done with no time at all. These were the perfect conditions for Mista to kill Fugo in swiftly, and surely without involving any innocent bystanders. Fugo could also feel the gaze of Xiali Yi, who was standing behind him. This girl was a sacrificial pawn. Tanis was stopping Fugo via any unexpected action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 pages. That's more. Cass was stopping Fugo if he took any unexpected action. She was prepared to die from the virus if need be. He felt like from a dangerous aura emanating from her heart. She had no qualms about throwing away her life. She was surrounded with no place to run. I get it, Mista. Fugo managed to get out, aware of the tremor in his old voice. If you want to kill me, you could have done that already. Mista frowned at Fugo's meek statement. Huh? What's the matter? This isn't like you. You aren't the type aren't you the type that snaps at everything once they're against the ropes? You know, truth be told, I'm relieved that you didn't decide to follow Bucciarati. I mean, what you said was accurate, right? It would have been ridiculous if you had snapped and spread unlimited doses of that virus everywhere. You would kill us all in the crossfire, right? Mista was assaulting him. That was clear. But Fugo thought, he's doing this on perfect purpose. Trying to provoke him to kill him. Like trying to provoke him to get mad and then kill him. That's what he's doing. Which is a master plan, to be honest. He can try, but it's probably not gonna work. And he could probably keep Shelly alive. Fugo was finally certain. He understood why he was brought here. He exhaled slowly, and he said, "It's not unlimited." What is that? My virus attack can only be used up to 6 times. There's only 6 capsules attached to Pepper Smoke's fist. And that's 6 times a day at most. But you already know this, Fugo said calmly. Mista squinted, realizing Fugo had already figured him out. I'll ask you one more time, Fugo. What are you thinking now? I never betrayed Priacione even once. Isn't that right, Mista? Right. I see. That's what it says to do. I guess that's one way of looking at it. Seems your mind is sharp as ever. In that case, you know what's we're gonna have to do now, right? You need to prove yourself in order to gain the right to pledge your loyalty to Jurno. Prove myself? Prove myself? To prove you're not an enemy, you need to kill our enemy. If you can't do that, then I'll kill you. His word held no ring of intimidation or exaggeration. You're simply stating the facts. Mista was now far removed from his past of You didn't hear me say shit! The same team was Fugo. In just 6 months, there was a clear gap of power and authority had developed between them. Fugo tried desperately to keep his teeth from chattering. He felt lesser than a frog in the sight of a snake. But at the very least, he knew that he was not going to be executed right here and now. He had survived yet again. Well, it should have been a relief. However, Fugo felt terribly uncomfortable. Bitter emotions swelled up from the depths of his chest. He took everything in his power to push him back down. Shivers ran up and down his spine. He thought of his entire body was filled with sharp, jagged objects. He felt like he was getting roasted over an open fire, yet frozen solid at the same time. Pepper Smoke suddenly let out a blood-curdling blow, snapping Fugo back to his senses. Mista frowned and said, "Enough. Put that thing away." Fugo recalled his stand back inside him. Behind him, you snorted Durasfilly. How much self-control do you lack when you can't even keep something that yours? Something like that is yours quiet. When Fugo stood silently, unable to respond, Mista intervened. Let's not start fighting. From now on, you two will be on assignment together. Huh? Fugo uttered, confused. With her? Not the two of you, of course. I'm going to put others on your team. These are the kind of guys you could kill solo. Guys? Our target is one person. He's being protected by a team. So you need to work You need to team yourself to stand a chance. Team offense, that's the basics. Mista gave him a sharp glance. Fugo felt. Fugo! He's a bitch! Damn. Chill run down his spine. He knew what he would straightforward position by the team do you mean? Yeah, the old Passione. The guys on the drug team. At roughly the same time, at a warehouse, at the edge of Villa San Giovanni, Vanni. 30 minutes? Half an hour? I don't think people are going to be watching this. Let's just hope. You know what? We'll continue this next time. I hope you like the antics. You know what's really interesting? This is like part 8, part 9 style. But yet, the book cover itself is like something more like part 7, part 6 style. So very interesting. I think it's part 6, part 7 style. This is like part 8, part 9 style. I may be wrong, but I think I'm right. Which is really interesting for a book. Which means it took like 2 to 3 years, maybe 8, for it to even be able to do this. This weird thing. Guess Araki wanted to redraw the cover for Purple Smoke to be on the cover instead of Fugo, which he did for the actual cover for the book. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Here we go. And we actually get some art on the inside of the book with Bucciarati and the gang here, except for Giorno, right here, which is really cool. And at the end of the chapter, they always show stand stats of certain stand, which is really interesting. So yeah, I think you should pick it up for yourself. It's only $20, maybe $25, and it's really good. Anyways. Say goodbye to the gun. And say goodbye to me and all the people that watch this. Now, I'm going to copy up. Have a bye 5. Fuck! Have a bye 5.